Gypsy Rose Blanchard has now shared more about what her mother Didi Blanchard did to her when she was a child, including the fact that Didi used to bind Gypsy's chest when she was 14 years old to make her look younger. Gypsy's mother, Didi Blanchard, is suspected of having Munchausen by proxy, but she was never able to be diagnosed with this because Gypsy and an ex-boyfriend of hers ended up killing Didi Blanchard years ago, and Gypsy spent almost 10 years in the prison system for this. Gypsy, who's now living with her boyfriend Ken and they share a daughter named Aurora, has been trying to make things work on social media since her release from prison, and it is not going well. She gets a lot of speculations and hate and rumors online, and a lot of people end up posting content that's not factual or true about her case. Now, she has taken to her social media once again to try and dispel some of those rumors, and also has a message for the people that are spreading it. He titled this saying, "My response to those who invalidate my abuse as a trauma survivor. I want to take a moment to acknowledge I am a controversial topic and why some on social media invalidate my trauma. My mother had never been formally diagnosed with MBP. However, experts strongly believe that with all the warning signs, she had undiagnosed Munchausen by proxy. Another term for this, of course, is fictitious disorder and malingering. She often lied about my health and manipulated everyone around her, including doctors and family. The truth is, most of the surgeries and medications I went through were unnecessary." Over the past decade, my story has been told across countless media outlets and in my memoir. Yes, there are small inconsistencies in many interviews and documentaries, and a scripted drama series that altogether had many over-dramatized and inaccurate details. That is what happens when information from others, family, friends, co-authors, gets mixed in with my own memories. This oversight will be corrected in the reprint of my memoir, My Time to Stand. When I said on Dr. Phil that I could lie without a conscience, I meant that my mother taught me to lie, to pretend everything was fine at home, to cover up what was really happening. That's what abusers do. They train their victims to survive through silence and performance. Never once did I think when expressing that people would ever invalidate my trauma and further claim that I was a willing participant in her con. Now, the reason Gypsy has written that part is a lot of content creators lately are trying to claim that Gypsy was part of the con, part of the fraud that her mother had been playing with trying to get free things from all of these charitable organizations for their family. Gypsy was 10 years old the first time she did a Make-A-Wish trip with her mother, and people are still trying to say that she had a hand in this con and was part of the reason that all of this happened. Even if someone doubts the medical abuse, please understand that there were many other forms of abuse. It's not normal for a mother to bind her 14-year-old's chest. Now, Didi apparently was doing this because she was trying to convince everyone that Gypsy was actually younger than she was. Keep her from attending a formal education and cease all homeschooling after the 2nd grade. So Didi had basically ostracized Gypsy from the rest of the world, pulled her out of school, and claimed that she was homeschooling her. But Gypsy claims that she doesn't have an education past the 2nd grade. Impersonate her child or daughter on Facebook to manipulate her daughter's father. Threatened that the boogeyman, CPS, Child Protective Services, would take her away for misbehaving, placing fear into her child from a young age. Use manipulation tactics such as triangulation, stonewalling, and verbal abuse, leaving long-lasting trust issues. Forge medical and government documents to alter personal information, including last name and even year of birth, all to create an eternal child for her own financial gain and emotional control. Those things happened, and they're not normal. I also want to clarify something that is often misunderstood. I do have a chromosomal condition called a microdeletion. I have been open about this and included it in my memoir. This genetic variation was even considered during my court proceedings. Some people online assume that because I have this microdeletion, all of the surgeries and medications I received must have been medically necessary, but that's not true. While microdeletion can be associated with certain traits such as smaller head size, mild developmental delays, strabismus, which is eye issues, which Gypsy does have some of, or distinct facial features, I have been evaluated by a genetics specialist who explained that I exhibit very few of the possible medical issues linked to this condition. Gypsy has actually done full videos on this and shared the results of those tests and outcomes. Despite that, my mother repeatedly told doctors that I had a severe illness, muscular dystrophy, epilepsy, hearing loss, asthma, leukemia, even cancer and paralysis. The diagnosis changed from hospital to hospital depending on what she told them. Unfortunately, many doctors took her word at face value and recorded those claims in my medical chart, creating a false and misleading medical history that does not reflect my true health today. I apologize if my story hasn't always sounded 100% consistent. I've been piecing my life together, learning what was real and what was a lie told by my mother. That's part of healing from trauma. Memory changes over time, especially when therapy helps turn painful memories into distant ones. It hurts when people call me a liar or say my entire story is false. I'm still uncovering truths about my past even now. My inconsistencies are not deceit. They're the byproduct of surviving and then untangling years of manipulation. You can't expect someone who lived through psychological and medical abuse to recall every event perfectly, especially after 10 years of processing it publicly. The truth is, I'm still healing at my own pace. I can't live by what others demand of me. Some want me to be an advocate. Others only want to judge me. I can only live my life, continue to heal, and tell my truth as I remember and learn it. All I ask is for people to show understanding and compassion. Abuse changes your perception of right and wrong. It shapes how you see the world and yourself. My story is one of survival, not perfection. If you are reading this and you are one of those individuals who invalidate me, to you I ask, would you still feel the same had I died and my mother had lived? Over the last decade, my story has been told in many ways. Have you ever heard of the telephone game? It's when one person tells another person something who then tells someone else, who tells someone else, who tells someone else, and by the time you get to the last person, the story has changed entirely. That is what happened on social media to my life story and my entire existence in my daily life. Throughout the last decade, many content creators have made video after video, rumor after rumor, until I have become someone else entirely in the minds of some. And to others, I have grown far beyond their expectations and continue to overcome trauma as a survivor. Let my story be a cautionary tale of what happens when a perfect storm meets a dormant volcano waiting to erupt. Let my story be a lesson to every victim of MBP that this is their time to stand. Advocate for more education in hospitals and affordable or free therapy to survivors and harsher penalties for abusers. Advocacy starts with a voice. Gypsy Rose Blanchard.